The road to Belém is a countdown. COP30 will convene in Brazil from the 10th to the 21st of November 2025, in the Amazon's gateway city, where the river meets the Atlantic and the world's climate diplomacy meets its limits. According to the UN, the dates are set, the stakes are higher than ever, and countries are expected to table stronger 2035 and 2040 targets alongside new finance pledges. The backdrop is not subtle. 2024 was confirmed by the World Meteorological Organization as the hottest year on record at approximately 1.55 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial baseline, a first full-year brush with the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold the Paris Agreement seeks to respect over the long term. As per WMO, ocean heat content also hit a record, glaciers logged their worst three-year mass balance, and sea ice anomalies persisted, clear signals of a climate system storing excess energy and releasing it through extremes. Yet the numbers that frame action versus chaos are unblinking. According to the UNFCCC's latest NDC synthesis, full implementation of countries' pledges would leave global greenhouse gas emissions at approximately 51.5 GTCO2 EQ in 2030, only 2.6% below 2019 levels, when the IPCC indicates a 43% cut by 2030 is needed for a greater than 50% chance to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The same report estimates that 2020 to 2030 emissions under current NDCs would consume approximately 86% of the remaining 1.5 degrees Celsius carbon budget. In plain terms, the ambition gap is not a slogan. It is 19 to 24 GTCO2 EQ of missing reductions by 2030, even if conditional elements are met. According to UNEP's emissions gap report, the consequence of that arithmetic is stark. Current policies keep the world on a 2.8 to 3.0 degrees Celsius path, and even with unconditional and conditional NDCs fully delivered, median warming by 2100 sits in the approximately 2.5 to 2.9 degrees Celsius range. UNEP's message is quantitative, not rhetorical. To stand a chance at 1.5 degrees Celsius without significant overshoot, global emissions must fall by about 42% by 2030 relative to 2019 and approximately 57% by 2035. Meanwhile, adaptation finance is not closing the distance to impacts. As per UNEP's 2024 Adaptation Gap Report, international public adaptation finance reached only $28 billion in 2022, while estimated needs by 2030 are $387 billion per year, a shortfall on the order of 6 to 13 times, growing precisely as the hazard profile worsens. This is why COP decisions about the new collective quantified goal on climate finance will matter far beyond communiques. The threat multiplier is most legible where water runs thin or runs wild. According to WRI's aqueduct data, 25 countries, home to about 1/4 of the world's population, face extremely high water stress each year, regularly drawing down almost all available supply. The UN's water stress tracking shows large regional disparities, with critical stress already evident in North Africa and parts of Asia. In basic human development terms, WHO-UNICEF's Joint Monitoring Program finds that approximately 2.2 billion people, 27% of humanity, still lack safely managed drinking water, and climate shocks tend to degrade service reliability further. These are not abstractions. They are system fragilities that widen during heat, drought, or flood. Case studies turn the multiplier from concept to consequence. In Pakistan, the 2022 monsoon flooded 1/3 of the country, affecting approximately 33 million people. The government-led PDNA put combined damages and losses above $30 billion. According to rapid attribution science, human-induced warming likely intensified the heaviest rainfall episodes, with models suggesting up to approximately 50% increases for the most extreme 5-day bursts. The data link hazard to impact with devastating clarity. Infrastructure, livelihoods, and public health buckled because exposure and vulnerability were already high. In the Horn of Africa, 5 failed rainy seasons from 2020 to 2023 produced the most severe drought in at least 70 years, driving acute food insecurity and displacement across Somalia, Ethiopia, and Kenya. UN agencies documented millions facing crisis-level hunger as drought alternated with flash floods, oscillations amplified by a warmer baseline climate. When governments and donors underfund early action, climate extremes cascade across health, mobility, and security. Conflict dynamics complicate the picture. The evidence is nuanced but sobering. A 2019 expert assessment in Nature judged that climate variability and change have influenced roughly 3 to 20% of the risk of organized armed conflict in the past century, with larger effects plausible under higher warming. The modal finding is that climate acts through well-known drivers, economic shocks, resource competition, grievances, rather than as a single cause. New meta-analyses continue to confirm statistically significant links between climatic extremes and elevated intergroup violence risk, even if average effect sizes are smaller than early estimates. The policy implication is rigorous. De-risk the climate, and you shave measurable probability mass off conflict risk, especially where state capacity and social safety nets are thin. Brazil itself embodies the action-chaos duality at the edge of the Amazon. According to Brazil's space agency, INPE, and independent monitors, annual Amazon deforestation fell by approximately 31% in the year to July 2024, the lowest in 9 years, after enforcement rebounded. Yet as per Map Biomass, 2024's exceptional drought and human-set fires drove a 79% surge in burned area nationwide, scorching approximately 30.8 million hectares, more than the area of Italy, with a majority of scars in Amazonian forests. The lesson is uncomfortable but essential for COP30's host. Cutting illegal clearing is necessary, but in a hotter, drier climate, fire and drought can erase gains unless resilience, enforcement, and regional cooperation scale in tandem. Energy trends send mixed signals too. According to IRENA, the world added a record approximately 585 gigawatts of renewable power in 2024, lifting installed capacity to approximately 4.45 terawatts. Yet the COP28 pledge to triple renewables by 2030 implies approximately 11.2 TW, and IRENA still sees a shortfall without faster grid build-out and financing in the Global South. At the same time, the IEA reports that explicit fossil fuel consumption subsidies remained near or above $1 trillion in 2023, and total government support across measures topped $1.5 trillion, public money that, if redirected, could erase sizable chunks of the adaptation and mitigation gap. As per COP28's global stocktake, countries did agree for the first time to transition away from fossil fuels, but without binding timelines. Trajectories will depend on domestic policy and capital costs, not communique rhetoric. So what does a road to COP30 look like between action and chaos? It looks like treating water risk as core security policy, not a sectoral afterthought. According to WRI and UN water evidence, that means quantifying basin-level stress, enforcing environmental flows, and funding resilient supply with regional compacts. It looks like making adaptation finance predictable at scales consistent with UNEP's $215 $387 billion per year needs, rather than annual plate passing for $28 billion. It looks like codifying the emissions math of the IPCC and UNFCCC, 43% cuts by 2030 from 2019 levels, into power sector and industry policies, while accelerating grids so the record renewable additions of 2024 become the floor, not the ceiling. And, crucially for Brazil's host role, it looks like proving that falling deforestation and rising forest resilience can coexist, even in drought years, by pairing enforcement with early warning, indigenous stewardship, and firebreak finance at biome scale. According to the UNFCCC calendar, Belém will not deliver a miracle. But if the summit forces a reality check on the emissions gap, on the water security nexus, on finance proportional to risk, then the documentary we are making together shifts genre, from disaster to course correction. As per the science and the budgets, the window is narrow but not yet closed. The difference between action and chaos is quantified on every page already written.